Let's talk about power inverters. What exactly is a power inverter and what does it do? Inverters, they convert DC electricity into AC electricity. So DC electricity, that's direct current, that's current flowing in one direction. Whereas AC electricity, you have current that reverses polarity. And typically this is going to be 60 times per second with a frequency of 60 hertz. Now, most inverters out there, they will take an input of 12 volts DC and convert it to an AC output of 120 volts. Now, I have seen inverters that will generate an output of 110 volts, so you need to look at each product, but the standard is usually 120. Now, one of the most important considerations when you're looking at an inverter is the wattage, how much power it can handle. So let's assume this is a 500 watt inverter. Well, what does that mean? Well, we know that power is equal to voltage times current. So for a 500 watt inverter, at the input, we can calculate approximately how much current is going to be flowing into this device. To calculate the current, it's going to be power divided by voltage. So if we take 500 watts divided by 12 volts, we can get a good estimation of how much current this is going to draw from the battery. So that's going to be about 41.67 amps. Of course, you can always measure it with a multimeter, which will be a lot easier. But that will be an estimation of how much current is going to be flowing from the battery. Now, on the output side, we can also calculate the current as well. So assuming that this is an ideal inverter with 100% efficiency, inverters in real life, the efficiency might be 85%, it might be 90%, but for the sake of the math of this problem, let's assume this is a perfect inverter. If we calculate the current at the output, it's going to be 500 watts divided by 120 volts. So that's going to be 4.167 amps. So this inverter, not only did it convert DC current to AC current, but notice that it increased the voltage by a factor of 10, from 12 volts to 120 volts. Now, if you're increasing the voltage, the current is going to decrease, so that the power, the amount of electrical energy being transferred per second, remains the same. So notice that the current decreased by a factor of 10. It went from 41.67 amps to 4.167 amps. And you'll find that that's going to be the case when dealing with many inverters. But now let's change this problem. Let's undo that. So let's say we have a 2000 watt inverter, and let's say the efficiency is 93%. With this information, go ahead and calculate approximately how much current is going to be drawn from the 12 volt battery, and also the current that's going to be coming out of the output as well. And let's say the voltage at the output is not 120, but it's 110. So calculate the input and the output current using this efficiency value. To calculate the current at the input, we're going to use this formula. We're going to take the power divided by the voltage. So 2000 watts divided by 12 volts, that will give us a current of 166.7 amps. Now, the input doesn't have to be connected to a 12 volt battery. You can also connect it to a solar cell as well and still achieve the same result. Now going to the output, before we could use this equation, we need to calculate the power at the output, because not all of the energy is going to be transferred from the input to the output. We're going to lose 7%. Only 93% of that energy will be transferred. So we have 2,000 watts coming at the input. If we multiply that by 0.93, at the output, the power is going to be 1,860 watts. We lost 7% of the energy that's coming in. Now, using this new reduced power, we can estimate the output current that this device is going to deliver. So we're going to take the power, 1860 watts, and divide it by the output voltage, which is 110. And that is going to give us a current of 16.9 amps. So even though this device is not perfectly efficient, the voltage still increased and the current at the output decreased. So that's the basic math behind power inverters. Now, when you're buying a power inverter, there's some things that you want to take into account. Sometimes you'll see two ratings. Let's say if there's a power inverter that has two values. You see 1,000 watts and 2,000 watts. The lower power rating typically relates to the continuous power that this device can handle. The upper rating usually corresponds to the surge power. This is like the maximum power the device can handle for a short period of time. So whenever you want to power your devices, you want to base it on this quantity, the lower value, because that's how much power it can handle under normal conditions. Now, not all power inverters will generate a pure sine wave. Some inverters will create what is known as a modified sine wave. A modified sine wave, a modifying sine wave looks like a square wave. But notice that at some points, the value is 0. Particularly at these points here highlighted in blue. So there's like a rest period for this kind of sine wave. So that's a modified sine wave. This is a pure sine wave. The modified sine wave is different from a typical square wave, which looks like this. So when buying a power inverter, this one is usually the best one to buy, the one that generates a pure sine wave.